there, sports fans. How are we doing? You okay? I am sunburned and good. Thank you. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the 10 Yards Back Rugby League YouTube channel for this, my review of round 18 of the Betfred Super League 2025. Yes, that's right. The Betfred Super League is what I said. Betfred Super League 2025 round 18. What a weekend it was. I mean, off the pitch, beautiful here in Blighty. Gorgeous weather, sun cracking the flags, and then we had some bloody rugby league to go with it. So let's have a look at what the fixtures looked like and what I thought was going to happen this weekend. Because as always, I like to throw me oar in, don't I? I like to have me predictions to go off. This, by the way, is a Salt ICAT beer available in Tesco purple can. I highly recommend it. So, round 18, we had Hull FC versus Wakefield kicking it off. I thought Wakefield were going to win. Wigan versus Huddersfield on Friday. I thought Wigan were going to win. Leeds versus Saints on Friday. I confusingly thought that Leeds were going to win, even though I said it the other way around last week. Lee versus Hull KR on Saturday. I thought Hull KR were going to win. Catalans versus Warrington. I had Warrington in that one. Salford versus Castleford. There was only one way to go with that one, guys. You were a fool if you went any other way with that one. But of course, what did the Red Devils do? They went and bloody won, didn't they? So we had victories from Salford and Hull FC at home. Second time Salford have won. Maybe the first time they've won at home, actually. I can't remember. First time Hull FC have won at home. And of course, those wily Leopards got one over on the Robins. So there's the third defeat of the year. Second in 2 weeks. Is it over for the Robins? Will they sink to the bottom of the league? That's what the media are asking probably right now, without me even looking. That they were the results. I think this might be a record for me getting them wrong, actually. So how many did I get wrong there? 1, 2, 3, 4 wrong. Wow, I was off this weekend. Probably tired from sunbathing. So first off, Thursday night. What a treat on a Thursday night this game was. Hull FC versus Wakefield Trinity. Wakefield Trinity Wildcats. I don't know what happened to that. So first I'm going to say, so I had this sit down at 16:22. The score was actually 16:10. Now, before I go into the game at all, before I say anything about the game, I'm going to say I love Lewis Martin, the try-scoring expert, the game-saving expert. But come on, mate, that was not a try to me. That was a very clear double movement, I thought. But the referee didn't seem to think so, and neither did the video ref. And they seem to know what they're doing. So 16:10 it became, not 10-all and a golden point. Scorcher, which is what we were all probably hoping for. This was a weird one because Wakefield, I think it was 10-0 at half time as well for Wakefield. So I can't remember that. I'm not going to stand by that, actually. So Wakefield were on top. It was quite a slow game. I said to my family group at half time, though, I said, don't count them out. I think Hull FC are doing better than it looks, because in the first half I think Wakefield kicked the ball in Hull's 20 twice, which means that they're keeping them out, or doing a really good job of keeping them out of their half, and they did that quite successfully in the way that I have said Hull FC can do this year. So the defence here really won the game. I mean, some beautiful tries and maybe tries as well from Hull FC, but at the end of the day, the defence won that game. Now, because on the other side, Hull FC also didn't make it into Wakefield's half all that much, but that was because of errors, I think. And all right, I can say, all right, they won, so I can go back and sort of talk shit about like this. But ultimately, I think Hull did a Hull, and Wakefield never quite showed up to the office, did they? Meters, carries, everything's pretty even. I think the thing that separates these two stats, if you look, other than the tries and the points, of course, is the missed tackles. So Hull FC missed 23 tackles, fine, that's okay. Wakefield missed 53 tackles. And if you think about the tries that were scored, and maybe not scored, you can really chalk them down to that, can't you? Poking through the line, missed tackles, slipping the defence. So Hull FC won that one. Errors kind of ruined the game, but it was still enjoyable to watch, wasn't it? It was still good, but we didn't quite get that wave versus rock that I was talking about with this one. Okay, let's go to Friday. First up on Friday, we have Huddersfield versus Wigan again. I had this down at 24-12 to the champions, the victors, the pie-eaters, the Warriors. Huddersfield put in a really good first 20. Those two tries they scored were both in the first 20. The Gagai one was good. Gagai. I'm not sure if is he playing wing at the minute. I can never tell. I can never keep up. I don't often get to watch the pre-match, where they actually talk about who's playing where. But he seems to score a lot of tries out there anyway, and he did just that in the way that he's done all season. They lower the defence. Gagai sneaks around. The Lollahere one though, I did say last week that Lollahere was going to be one to watch here, and he was again. Beautifully taken kick, just a perfect catch and put over the line for Lollahere's try. So that first 20 minutes they looked really, really shit hot, and Wigan looked like once again they were probably going to be floundering for the third week in a row. Would it have been that? Now I think the key to Wigan's turnaround here, because they really did turn it around, because if you look at the tries that Wigan scored, I think they scored 3 in the last 10. So Huddersfield kind of just fizzled out a bit. They sort of rolled over and had the belly scratched. I think the key to Wigan's turnaround was that in the first half, they were really, really relying on Kieran, who was playing at halfback. He was filling in for Bevan French at 6. And it's all well and good to have someone filling in and have them, giving them the chance. But it wasn't really working, and it seemed like everything was trying to go through Adam Kieran in that first half. In the second half, Harry Smith just sort of went, it's okay, mate, it's okay, go on. You be a standoff, and I'll be a scrum half. So I'll do all the kicking, I'll do all the generalship. You go confuse the defence, and that's exactly what happened. They started to work together quite well. I don't know if they had a talk about that, whether that was a conscious thing, but that's exactly what happened. Even Harry Smith ended up getting a nice try, or was it chalked off? Can't quite remember. I said last week they need to figure out how to be spectacular without French, not because he's going anywhere, but he isn't there right now, and they haven't been spectacular. I don't know if this is them doing that, but it was certainly Harry Smith saying, "Hey guys, remember me? I'm the England scrum half, so give me the ball, please." So 30 points to 10. Wigan just kind of ran away with it at the end, didn't they? December at the end there, just walked over, didn't he? And he does that, but it was even more pronounced in this because Huddersfield just didn't really look arsed at the end there. The other game on Friday, we headed over to Headingley, AMT Headingley, where we saw the Rhinos face off against the Saints for the 4th time this season, and we're still not bored of it. 3rd time league, once in the cup, of course. Now, I knew this was going to be close. I said it was going to be 18-16 to, I think I settled on it being Leeds in the end. Maybe I was a minute and a half in as to which way it would go, but the teams going into that were very close, except points difference. So over the past 6 weeks, the two teams were actually very close. And so the score was going to be close. It was going to be a close game because they're quite closely matched. I think Leeds had a couple more errors than Saints did. Fine. The score was 6-0. So Saints got over, and it was a great try. Dagnall scored a great try. Undoubtedly a try. Nothing like that coming from Leeds, so that's fine. You can say they got lucky, but fine, whatever, they scored it. The weird thing about this game is, if I showed you these two stats, these two sets of stats from each team, except for the try and the kick, of course, because that would give it away, and I said, which team do you think won this game? You'd be an idiot to say that Saints won this game, or the one on the left won the game. Leeds made 200 more metres than them, or 100 odd more metres than them. They made 60 more carries, 60 fewer tackles. They missed a few more tackles, and they were offloading like crazy. Any other game in the Super League this year, you say, oh yeah, of course that team won because they did all those extra things, and that other team was busy defending all game. But it just seemed like Saints could just defend all night. Maybe they're back to that Christian Wolf-inspired defence that we've all missed secretly, even though we didn't want to say we missed it because we want attacking Saints. Either way, it was a good game. I think, Leeds went back to that, high ball strategy that I talked about. It didn't really work that well. They were able to Saints were able to recover quite well from it. Fair few errors on both sides, I think, and Saints even had a yellow card at one point, and Leeds didn't do anything with it. So I'm comfortable here to say that Saints won that convincingly, and Leeds just lost. But they'll be back. They'll be back next week. I think maybe Leeds have Wakefield this week and Saints have Lee. So I'm not sure Saints will hold on to that league position for much longer. All right. And here it is. Saturday. This Saturday afternoon scorcher. So I was out in the garden. I was actually listening to this game. I had to go back and watch it. I was out in the garden doing some gardening, getting sunburned on my back. Because sun's out, guns out, of course. So I had this down at 14-18. Again, thought it was going to be quite close, quite competitive. And of course it was quite good. It was good. It was a good game, but god damn it, Lee just taught them a lesson, didn't they? So that's twice in a row that Lee have really convincingly beat the top team. And the interesting thing, not the interesting, but the thing to note about it, I think, is that, the Hull KR earlier in the season, when they were beating everyone, they were kind of just crossing off the guess who of the Super League and beating everyone. They were doing it, Hull KR were doing it by adjusting their game plan and going with each team. So, the classic example is the Saints example, where they just kicked them into the corner and didn't let them move all game. And I think it was 20 points to 4 or something like that. Lee are doing this simply by being Lee. They're just playing their own game plan. So they played exactly the same game against Hull KR as they did against Wigan. And it worked. Now, the thing is, and this is how you know it was a really good game, is look at those meters that they each made. That's 2.7 kilometers of ball in hand between both teams. On a day like that, where the sun was absolutely cracking the flags, it was a cracking game. I don't really know. I I mean, Hull KR didn't do anything wrong. It's just, you just couldn't beat that. I mean, Lachlan Lamb had his hands all over it. The guy, what was his name? Davis, the guy who came on. He had a youngster replacing Edwin Apape, and fucking doing an Edwin Apape on everyone, and just doing it. His name was all over it. John Wells. I think he might have paid John Wells to say his name that much on the commentary. But great game. I think again it comes down to, for me, those missed tackles. Look, you got 2.5 times as many missed tackles at Hull KR to Lee. And Lee are a team where you just really, really can't miss a tackle. They aren't super flashy and offloady, but they will do that when they need to, when they know they're on the front foot. Because if you give Lee an inch, they will take an absolute 1.4 kilometres. So good on Lee. They won, beat the champions. That's 2 weeks in a row. I think if I played for Saints, I'd be worried right now, because Lee are just fucking doing the damn thing. Catalans versus Warrington, Saturday evening, the late game on Saturday. This turned into a good game in the second half. In the first half, you kind of thought that, it's bloody Catalans have just, they've done it again. They've lost their head. Here's where we are, because I think I said this was going to be 22-32, so I was a bit off on that. I think that by half time it was 18-0, I think. So then by full time, 20-24. Great comeback. And I think that the kid, what's his name, Baumforth, Delvin Baumforth, who you'd think was a French guy with his name, but I think he's actually from Hull. I think not sure. But he came on and just absolutely turned the game around for Catalans, and it was you could almost see them, like, oh yeah, remember that. Oh yeah, we can. Yeah, I remember when we could play rugby league. Yeah, all right, yeah, okay, let's do this. And they started to link up. They started to work better. They lost by 4 points, and there were a couple of points in the game where you can point to say, oh, this is a bit close, isn't it, to be losing by that margin. One of them being they had a penalty at about 6 minutes, I think, and Makinson literally hobbled up to the kicking tee to kick with the leg that he's hobbling on. So, which was like, hey, whoa, yeah, he's clearly. I mean, let him play if you want, but should we let him kick? Should we let him kick for points? I don't know about that. So they took the kicking tee off him eventually. Another one involved Makinson again, where this is an odd one. I'll probably cover this on a 6 again in more detail, but Nick Kotrick got through the line. Makinson's with him, and the only person marking is Dufty, and I think he's actually miles away, so he's not even in it. So there's a very clear line to the try line for these two to score between them. It's in, it's done, it's a try. It's 6 minutes in, 7 minutes in, whatever it is, and it's a try. The ref blows them up for knock on, and they challenge it, and it turns out it wasn't a knock on; it was a headbutt, a header, but which I thought was a knock on anyway. But it turns out it's not. I don't know. It was ruled not a knock on. Gaston's got the ball back, but why didn't the ref just let them score the try anyway? Because then you can't award the try that they never took. It's almost like the ref can't give you a penalty try just for making the wrong decision. So then there was no try there. So you can't. It's like the butterfly effect, isn't it? You can't just roll it back and say, well, it would have been 26-24 and they would have won, because it's not necessarily the case. But certainly getting ahead by 8 points that early on in the game would have changed things. I don't know, maybe it would have spurred Warrington on and we would have ended it with 32-22, who knows. But yeah, that was a very, very weird one to have happened there. The stats on this are pretty low. Like I say, it was a pretty poor game. Towards the end there, it kind of looked like an NFL game. It was just two sides lining up, smashing each other, knocking on, error, whatever, high tackle, ball switches possession, the other side lines up, smashes the other team, errors, not. It got a bit repetitive at the end, but thankfully, Catalans came back strong and made it quite an entertaining end to that game. Okay, closing out the weekend in the Sunday spot, the typical spot was the Salford Red Devils over at the Salford Community Stadium. I guess AJ Bell are not interested anymore in the Red Devils, which is understandable, I guess. So I had this down at 16-28 Red Devils to Castleford, and this is one of those games that I'm keeping a close eye on as the end of the season approaches. I think that this 14-team league has been poo-pooed. It's been sort of shut down, but these games where it's low end of the league versus each other, I'm still trying to figure out what I think of these, because obviously if we had 14 teams, then there'd be, what is that? 16 of these games a year rather than 4 of these games a year, whatever it is. Because there'd be more sort of lower quality teams or whatever. But yeah, Salford bloody did it, didn't they? They ended up 26-22 in what actually turned out to be quite an entertaining second half of the game when Salford came back into it. I would say that the tries were quite reliant on individual efforts, which is fine, at that level. It's kind of uncharacteristic of Salford, to be honest, because they've really, really linked up in the past. But I mean, who are Salford now in terms of the playing group? Who is that? We had shirt number 57 out on Sunday, so it's all right to say, oh, Salford do this, but it's a different fucking team every week, isn't it? So the first half, Salford just had some poor ruck hygiene. I think they gave away a lot of metres by Castleford being able to just sneak behind the ruck, gain a couple of metres and get over. But in the second half, they really started to put stuff together. Ehsan Masters was absolutely everywhere. If you were listening to it, like I was originally, his name just kept coming up over and over and over again. And if you watch it back, he was laterally running, he was offloading, he was giving neat little tip-ons. It was absolutely fantastic show from him. Really glad that they've kept hold of him. Him and the core of Salford is still Salford, isn't it? So it's good for them. But Salford just wanted it more. So Castleford lost their coach earlier in that week, and when that last try goes over, who was it that scored it? I can't remember. Sorry. Castleford were just sort of like, well, that's the way it goes. And they did go on to score another one, but they just didn't really look that bothered. And I wonder, like, I'll never know what it's like to be in the changing rooms of a poorly performing team. Castleford have been perennial number 10 all season. They lost to Huddersfield last week, so now it's sort of it makes it worse. And now they lose their coach. Is that changing rooms thinking, whew, all right, well, I guess we're off the hook because, how can they blame us? They've already blamed Danny Maguire for this. And so we don't even really need to start playing better, because then we can just play around the coach again and we just get a new coach and then we go again next year. So I don't know. I don't know if that goes through people's minds. I would hope not. Professional athletes, because it would show up every week to get the shit kicked out of them by other professional athletes. But there it is. Sunday afternoon, Salford 26, Castleford 22. All Salford need to do now is just see how many they can get, because nobody thinks they're going to get any more. If they get one more, if they get 3 wins this season, more wins than both Hull and London got last year, that would be absolutely incredible against basically a full-strength Super League. So good on them. Love you, Salford. Great show. So let's see what that's done to the table. Leeds have slipped down to 5th, Saints up to 4th, and Lee up to 3rd. We'll see how that plays out. What I will say is Wakey and Hull FC have also switched around after that defeat on Thursday to Wakey. A lot of this comes down to 1 point, so the Lee Hull FC point, which I've already kind of said sort of doesn't matter really, because it's been interesting, because when it's so hard to get 1 point, 1 point is like, it's a win if you're winning and it's a loss if you're losing, if that makes sense. So if you're poorly performing, you really wish you had that extra point, but if you're winning, you're like, yeah, fuck it, I got 1 point, because you can't just get 1 point, you need to get a draw. So I don't know, I think with that 1 point thing, we either need to do golden point and somebody definitely wins, or we need to just have draws and loads of people can accumulate 1 point across the season, because it's not that easy to do that either, is it? But there's a lot of points difference riding on this. So Saints, because of those 4 games against Salford, have a massive points difference, and other teams as well, to be honest. It's unfair to just blame it on Salford, but they have a massive points difference advantage. So if Saints can string a couple of wins together, they'll be easily third. You know, they'll probably never go down on points difference there. So that makes it easy. I think Salford, Warrington, they're probably out of the 6, aren't they? When you've got Hull FC and Wakefield competing so strongly for the 6, I think Warrington's year is done. But like I've said time and time again, we need a good Warrington, and this is it's kind of a diet Warrington at the minute, isn't it? But they can still keep showing up and still giving us good, entertaining games and competing for our hearts, can't they? All right, top point scorers. Adam Kieran still at number 1. Max Jowett, joint second with the old punching bag Artem Morg. What a guy, Max Jowett. I mean, be honest, how many people either knew who Max Jowett was or thought he would be number 2 on the point scoring league ever, the point scoring table? Because he's not just doing that kicking either. He's doing it by scoring tries. He's scoring loads of tries. So good on you, Max Jowett. The old punching bag there, Artem Morg, he almost got up to number 1, or maybe he did get up to number 1 in the table at 1 point, but it was just for like a couple of minutes. Which is like people, if you read articles, well, if you do, be like, oh, and Saints went up to 3rd after this. But it's like, yeah, but everybody had a game in hand, so why do you comment on what the table's like before the weekend's finished when everyone's still got a game in hand? I don't know. Same there with the points. Try scores, top try scores. So something interesting this week that I noted is there hasn't been much movement in the try scorers this week. Everyone's kind of remained a bit static because only 3 of these players, I think it's Martin, Jowett and Wardle, only 3 of those players scored this weekend. So that means that it's a good thing, really, because it means tries are coming from everywhere. Josh Charnley mainly this weekend, I think. But I think that's good. It means we've got an entertaining league. We've got a broad talent pool. We're doing well as a league. All right. So that'll do me for this week, for round 18, which was a surprise, wasn't it? It was a good one. So come back later in the week, 6 again, lots to talk about, and I'll give you my predictions for round 19, which I think will also be a very good round, very competitive. Until then, enjoy your evening.